Good morning, everybody. Good morning, dear students. I am Mr. Mokhtar, teaching English and French both at Market Free Junior High School. Now, today I'm here to present to you on BFtv a grammar lesson related based on rewriting sentences without changing their meanings. I mean, it is the family of reformulations, right? So, before doing everything, I just would like to remind you that reformulations is a very large family. You have passive and active voice, you have report speech, you have if clauses, unless, wishes and regrets. But today I'm going to focus on the use of would rather, had better and would prefer to. And if we have time, we're going to add another lesson, I mean the use of unless. But before doing everything, you have to understand that the students must understand, first must master, if I dare say, the tenses. So we're going to recap or to remind you the 12 tenses that you have in English in a scientific way. So let's go. Suppose we're going to study these cases in a communicative way. So let's study these cases first. Case 1. Suppose a student says, today is, this is the verb to be. Today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. Another student says, yesterday was, you always have to be. Yesterday was Wednesday. And the third student says, tomorrow will be. You always have to be. Tomorrow will be Friday, right? So if we focus on these three sentences in case 1, we're going to learn some tenses. And we're going also to focus on these cases to learn the 12 tenses that we have in English and in a scientific way. So you have to listen carefully, because sometimes we waste time on teaching tenses, and it takes us 2 months or 1 month in a useless way. So here is a very simple one to learn the 12 tenses in English. Since now this student says today is Thursday, so we have here the present simple. And if another student says, yesterday was Wednesday, so we have here the past. And if another student says, tomorrow will be, can I use it? Tomorrow will be, so we have here the future, right? So, if we focus on these three parts, you have for each one simple. You also have here simple present and simple future. So if we go on, you're going to have this. And for each part, for each tense, you're going to have a continuous form. You have past continuous, present continuous, future continuous. If we go on again, you have the past perfect, present perfect, and the future perfect. And the last one, you have past perfect continuous, present perfect continuous, and future perfect continuous. So if you count, you're going to have 12 tenses in English. And this one is very practical. So of course you have to be careful when using the present simple. If you use the present simple with he, she and it, you're going to add s in the affirmative form. And then remember, we use do and does to make questions, don't and doesn't in negative sentences. It is the same with the simple past. You have did and didn't for the negative and interrogative sentences, except of course the auxiliary to be. Now the problem is here now. you know that we can use the future in different way. The famous way to use the simple future is the use of will, but you can use the simple future with present simple, present continuous, and be going to. So, and then you're going to discover by the end of the year how to use all these 12 tenses in English. Suppose we have the past continuous, you have to use to conjugate the auxiliary to be in the past simple plus verb plus ing. Here you have had or hadn't plus past participle, and then here you have had or hadn't been plus verb plus ing, and so on and so forth. So these are the 12 tenses that we have in English. So we're going to focus on these parts of tenses to use the reformulations and the family of reformulation, meaning rewriting sentences without changing their meanings. And this lesson, most of the students, they have problem with this kind of lesson, because every year most of the examinations, at the BFM or the baccalaureate, you have sometimes some type of exercises like this. Okay, so we're going to focus on these tenses and try to see some cases, other cases with reformulations. So the third case is would rather. Now we're going also to focus on the second one, between Ami and her sister. You remember that Ami told her sister, you had better wash your clothes because you know that my mother is very tough. Let's write that sentence. You had better wash the clothes before she comes. Meaning she is tough, right? Remember, you can say you had better, or you'd better. It's the same. This is the contractive form. Okay, so Ami says you had better wash the clothes before my mother comes, and her sister replies again by saying, I know that she told me to do it, but as I said, I have to go somewhere. And in this same sentence, you can use another sentence without changing the sentence of the sister of Ami. Here it is. She said, it's the same as I would rather Now here you have to be careful. When you use, this is the sister of Ami, and if you use the name of Ami here, you're going to change the verb, the tense of the verb. For example, here I would rather you, meaning Ami. Here, be careful, the verb is going to be in the simple past. I would rather you did it for me, meaning the verb to do. Not I would rather you do, not. No. The verb here is in the simple past simple. Because the sister wants her sister Ami to do it for her. You see, so you say I would rather you did it for me, meaning it replaces the fact of washing the clothes. Okay, so this is the case, one case of using would rather. So here again you can say I would rather or I'd rather. This is the same, I'd rather. Okay, you see, donc it is the same, I'd rather go. Okay, and then As we saw in case 2, you can use the comparative with would rather and had better. It is the same. For example, you say X says there is a good film on television. Let's watch it. Now A says, oh, I'd rather learn my lessons than watch television. You see, here is a good student. If it was another one, meaning a seller, she's going to say, so why not? You see, which means that you have to be careful when using the comparative with. She's comparing the fact of watching television and learning her lessons. So he said, I would rather learn my lessons than watch television. You see, here it is the same as I would rather you learned your lessons. Learned or learns, it's the same. Learn, the verb learn can be regular or irregular, right? I would rather you learned your lessons too, right? So she is advising her to not to watch television, right? The fourth case now is case 4, the use of wishes and regrets. You see, wishes and regrets. Why wishes? Because we can use wish in different ways. Now again, in a communicative way, let's study this situation. You had a guest, meaning you had a naming ceremony. You had a naming ceremony, and then one of your relatives came to that event, and now she's ready to go back. Okay, so you say, I wish you a safe trip. This is one way of using wish. Another situation. Some students are sitting for the BFM or the back exam soon. So you say, A says, I'm afraid we won't do our test or exam tomorrow, but it's not sure. You see, which means that everything can happen, right? So B says, don't worry, whatever happens, I wish you good luck. I wish you good luck. Okay, so whatever happens, whatever the situation, I wish you good luck for your exam or for whatever you're doing. So this is also another way of using wish. So it is the same as I wish you, he, she, it wishes. You have just to conjugate. I don't, he, she, it doesn't, do, does, and so on and so forth. This is one way of using wish. There is another way of using wish in terms of regretting some things. So you have to be careful. This is wish, and we can use it also in another way. That's why I put here the S to let you know that we can use it in a different way. So the other way of using wish is suppose A again in a communicative way. My teacher told us to do our exercises, but I did not. But I forget to do it, to do them. Sorry. So B replies by saying, "How come?" And then in the same way, B can use the case of 2 or 1. You had better not forget it, or I would rather you didn't forget it. So A says again, "I wish I." Now you have to be careful here. Here the teacher told them. Here you have the simple past, which means that A is regretting something that happened in the past. In this case, in this situation, if you regret something in the past, you're going to use wish plus past perfect. You see, of course, you have to be careful. Remember, we revised the tenses before tackling the title of the lesson. So, I wish I hadn't forgotten. Be careful with the regular and irregular verbs. I hadn't forgotten to do my exercises or them. Here, A regrets something that happened in the past. When we regret something in the past, you use wish plus past perfect. Okay? So, this is one way of using regrets. Another one is A says, he will, I'm sure, he will do a test today, and I have not revised. And I have not revised. In the same way, B says, come on, my friend, come on. How do you dare do such thing? A says again, oh, you're right. You're right. Meaning, I wish I learned or revised my lessons. Here you have the simple past. Here you have the past perfect. Which means that today, remember, today, here, it is in the simple present. If you regret something in the simple present, in the present, you use wish plus simple past. But if you regret something in the past, you use wish plus past perfect. The form, it depends. You have, here you have, I wish I hadn't, which means that he did something wrong and she regretted, so this is the negative form. It is always the contrary of your regretting, right? For example, Musa is here, I wish he wasn't here. Musa came, I wish he hadn't come. This is the same. Musa didn't come, I wish he had come. You always pay attention to the form of the verb that you're going to use. But anyway, when you regret, once again, something in the past, you use wish plus past perfect, either in the affirmative, negative, or interrogative form. But if it is now the simple present, if you regret something in the present right now, you use wish plus past simple. There is another way of using regrets. That's what we're going to see. Okay, case number 5. Sorry. Another way of regretting using wish, so is when we complain about a situation. You see, here we are complaining about a situation we can regret. For example, a simple case, a famous one. Let's take the case of the coronavirus. You see, everyone knows that coronavirus is a deadly disease. So everywhere in the world, people are afraid. They don't know what to do, where to go, and whatever you may think. So everyone is afraid of this deadly sickness. So you say, Fatu says to her friend, you know what? We can no longer shake hands, nor go out and you're right, sister. I really wish doctors would find a solution for that. You see, here you have here the use of would, the conditional. Now why would? It's just because we're complaining about the situation, which means that I can do nothing to fight against the coronavirus. Only there are some religious people who say only God can help us, which is true. We can't know that only God is great. But there are some who believe in scientists, and especially doctors. They really want doctors to find a solution, and the sooner the better. You see, even Ibu can add and the sooner the better. Guys, people are fond of going out. We really want to go out and do what we used to do. So here is a way of using would. Okay, so which means that when we complain about a situation, so you use would, wish plus conditional, meaning would plus infinitive without to. Okay, the form, it depends. You can use the conditional in the negative or interrogative or affirmative form. Okay, so to summarize the use of wish, when we regret something in the past, we use wish plus past perfect. And remember, we have already revised the past perfect, meaning had plus past participle or hadn't. When we regret something in the present, we use wish plus simple past. So with the simple past, be careful with the regular and irregular verb and the negative and interrogative form. When we complain about a situation, we use wish plus conditional present, meaning would or wouldn't, plus infinitive. These are the different ways of using wishes and regrets. And if we recapitulate, we started with the case number 1, would rather had better, wishes and regrets. So you know that the reformulations are very large. You see, it is a very large family. We cannot do all the family of reformulations today, but as it is said, I will be back here again and try to continue with the other cases or some grammar lessons. But what is the most important lesson I would like to do is to help students also in this situation is with the writing, because some students have really problems to do with writings, especially when in terms of examination, because it is graded out of 6, but few students pay attention to that essay writing. So I really wanted to keep on, but as it is said, time is up, and then next time I will be here again to go on or to continue with some grammar lessons and writing exercises. Thank you very much. This was Mr. Hann teaching on BFtv, and it was a great pleasure to be here with you, and I hope this lesson will be interested to you. Okay, thank you very much.